early. There's still much more to come.
Yeah, and Nicole, obviously there was going to be a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs on this hearing because DOGE has really been at the center of the most contentious debates and fights this Congress so far. So this is the manifestation of DOGE in a committee form or a subcommittee form of the House Oversight. You saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene leading that hearing today. Obviously, there were a lot of fireworks. There were some contentious moments there, which is what we expected. There also was a fair amount of substance. And actually, if you get past the back and forths, which there were, again, were plenty, you played some of those exchanges, there was seemingly a willingness on the part of Democrats to say, we want to work with Republicans where it makes sense to try to find waste, fraud, and abuse. Republicans over and again continuing to remind the public that there is a $36 trillion national debt right now that continues to get worse. And they say there are several areas where they can try to claw back large chunks of that if they, work together. The points where there was disagreement is specifically on Elon Musk, President Trump, and shutting down, scaling back federal agencies in a way that Democrats argue is illegal and improper. Republicans saying we're in desperation mode, and that is what's necessary to try to fix the national debt and the deficit as well. So this is what we got from Marjorie Taylor Greene and from Melanie Stansbury, the top-ranking Democrat on this committee, after they left the hearing room. Take a listen.
I welcome any work to stop waste, fraud, and abuse by Democrats. I completely welcome it. I heard a few of the Democrat members in there sounded serious about it, but I also saw some others use their 5 minutes to attack President Trump, attack Elon Musk, attack me, and basically make political theater of the whole thing.
As Democrats on the committee, we're very interested in working on a bipartisan basis to tackle waste, fraud, and abuse and to make the government more efficient, but we're not going to be silent while an unelected billionaire and the president are breaking the law and dismantling our federal agencies.
At the end there, we asked Congresswoman Greene whether we would see Elon Musk at any one of these hearings moving forward for this DOGE subcommittee. She strongly suggested we would not. She said we like to see them doing the work they're doing rather than coming here to Capitol Hill. So we'll see. I asked her if any DOGE officials at all were going to be testifying. And again, she didn't give a definitive yes or no, left the door open, but sort of suggested that's unlikely at this point, Nicole.
All right, so we may not hear from actual DOGE officials. All right. That's one thing happening today. Also happening today, the Senate did confirm Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. But, Joe, we all remember just a few weeks ago, her nomination really seemed to be very much in doubt. So what changed between then and now?
Yeah, there were a lot of Republicans who had concerns initially about Tulsi Gabbard. Specifically, she had been at odds with the intelligence community several times in her past. That community now is what she's going to be the director of. There were questions about her judgment on Edward Snowden, the infamous NSA leaker. She would not call him a traitor to the country, as many Republicans in the Senate wanted her to do so. Ultimately, she got to today and got confirmed. We know that people like Vice President Vance really did a lot of work behind the scenes, calling senators, trying to allay some of their concerns. We know that Gabbard herself did much of that outreach, and ultimately, she got here today. Every Republican except for former leader Mitch McConnell voted for her. He was the only one who joined Democrats voting against her nomination, basically saying that he has concerns. He says the nation shouldn't have to worry that the assessments the president receives are tainted by a director of national intelligence with a history of alarming lapses in judgment. Pretty strong words there from Leader McConnell. But again, she needed to lose 4 Republicans for her nomination to fail. She only lost 1, so she is going to be the next DNI and will be sworn in at the White House later on this afternoon.